In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 interesting news stories and their implications for you as we go forward towards the month of April. So before we get started, do click on the bell icon and subscribe to the channel. The first news story I want to speak about is a piece of good news. There's been a research done by Aon, and it turns out that you are likely to get a very good hike this year in 2022. So you are likely to get a hike of around 10%. So Aon did this research across 40 industries, across IT, across e-commerce, and across many industries. So no matter which part of the economy you work in, you are likely to get an excellent hike of around 10% this year. Now, if you compare this hike to other countries, so for instance, if you look at the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, China, the average hike over there is expected to be around 6%. But in India, you are likely to get a hike of around 10%. So that is very good news to get started with. The second news story, and maybe not such a piece of good news, is looking at the Russia and Ukraine war. And you've probably been listening to all the news that is going around. But the news I want to touch upon is actually the price of oil. If you've been looking at the trend of the oil prices, it was at $130, it was $120, $110. It's hovering around that range as I shoot this video. And Morgan Stanley estimates that oil prices will stay at $120 for at least the next 3 to 4 quarters. And that is bad news. That is bad news for the economy. That is bad news for you. Why is that? Because as oil prices go up, it straight away affects inflation. So if you're looking at the US and Europe, so US has taken a stand that it's not going to buy Russian oil or Russian gas. The inflation in the US is already at a 4-decade high. And because of the oil prices shooting up, inflation in the US will actually shoot up a little more. But coming back to India, inflation is around between 6 to 7% right now, and India imports about 80% of its oil. So if the oil prices keep going up, inflation will actually increase. So how much will inflation increase? Now, if you look at RBI estimates, our inflation is expected to be around 6%, but that assumes price of oil at $90. Now, Morgan Stanley says the price of oil will remain at $120. So the extra $30 will translate to roughly 1.5% to 2% inflation. So every $10 increase in price, oil price increases inflation by about 0.5%. So from $90 to $120 is about 1.5% to 2 extra inflation. So you might be getting a 10% hike, but 8% of it will actually go in inflation. The third news story I have is actually from social media. I see a lot of people on social media commenting that they have invested in stocks of new age companies like Paytm, but they are absolutely bleeding on the share market. So if you look at Paytm's listing price, it was around 1,560, and currently it's lost nearly 2/3 of that value. It's currently trading under 600 rupees as I shoot this video. And this is a similar story with other new age tech companies, and there is so much social media angst around it. Now, my perspective towards you and my advice to you is you are probably going to get your annual bonus in the month of April. And if you are looking to invest money in the share market, please be very careful and think along the following lines. If you're choosing to invest in a new age tech company, please ask yourself the following question: how many years will this company become profitable? What is the path to profitability? If it is more than 3 years, I would suggest you do not do it. If the cash flows are not going to turn positive, it is not worth it. So where should you invest your money? If you're keen on investing in the share markets, I strongly recommend look at the blue chips. Blue chips like Infosys, HDFC Bank, Unilever, Bajaj Finserv, TCS, Reliance. All of these, if you hold for a period of 10 years, because of their profitability, because of their industry leadership, because of their cash flows, they will give you better returns than what some of these new age tech companies can give. The fourth story, which is of interest to you, is actually what Narayan Murthy said, Infosys founder, that he believes that as the pandemic is receding, all of you who are working in the IT industry should come back to office and work for nearly 5 days a week from the office. Now, this is not just Narayan Murthy. A lot of other IT companies are also been talking about it. A lot of investment banking, a lot of financial services companies have also been talking about it, that work from home does not work for Indian audiences. You need to be present in office. My honest take is this kind of thinking is slightly outdated. It basically equates face time to performance, and that's how India thought in the 1990s. It probably doesn't think about it now. So I do believe going a couple of days to office helps. The social connections, meeting your colleagues, doing discussions or workshops in person has its own value. So 2 days a week definitely helps increasing productivity, but 5 days a week in office just because the firm is not trusting you to get work done at home is probably outdated. The fifth story, and a very interesting one, is, and this was around Valentine's Day about 5-6 weeks back, is there is a zoo in Texas, San Antonio, and what you can do there is if you pay $5, you can actually name a cockroach after your ex. Yes, you heard that right. You can name a cockroach after your ex, and that cockroach will be fed to a reptile or an animal, and the zoo will actually live stream that eating experience for you. You will get a certificate, and you can also share that on social media. So this is a very innovative way the zoo has come up with to actually raise money for their animals. So to all of you who have been bitten and are bruised from the process of love, this is something you can consider. You can still register now. I saw the website. You can still register and pay $5 for the cockroaches to be named after your ex. So with this, we come to the end of this video. And if you like the 5 interesting stories I've presented for you, do subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon. Till next time, take care.